Hi, this is Tom Santos with General Mills Flour with Lesson 8 of the Flour Detective, bag label clues and pricing. So I want to start out with showing you a General Mills bag because we declare our product very well. You can see it's the all trumps, but we tell you it's high gluten, enriched, bromated, bleached. Some of our competitors don't have such a declarative label that you could look for. If that's the case, all you need to look for is the ingredient deck. Every flour sold has an ingredient deck. The ingredient deck will tell you if there's bleach, bromate, or enrichment in it. So that's an easy way to think when you're looking and you're trying to compare products. One other thing with the General Mills product, if the bag is red, if it's a spring wheat bag and it's red, it's telling you it's treated. It has bleach, bromate in it. Red bag, treated flour. Same all trumps in a green bag, untreated flour, unbleached, unbromated. So when you're out there selling product, that's a quick clue for somebody who's a little newer in the process selling flour to understand the General Mills bag colors. Now, if you ever have a complaint or a customer asks about the best by date of flour, on the side of the General Mills bag, this is called the gusset side of the bag. It wouldn't be on the front of the bag, would not be on the back of the bag. It's going to be on the side of the bag. There's going to be a date code. That date code is the production date. It's not the best by date. It's not the best use by date. It's the production date. And it's going to say the date, the month, the year, the plant, and the timestamp. So if you're looking at the slide, you'll see the Di Primordine Farina flour on the left, and in the middle, you'll see the actual date code stamped right on it, and that's telling you it was produced on December 4th, 2020 at our Kansas City mill, and then there's a timestamp next to it. Here are a couple of labels from our General Mills flour brands. You can see very well identified the gold medal all trumps, untreated, as I said, the green label. The Pillsbury are almost always blue. They are blue, and because they're all of them are treated, bleached, either bleached, bromated, or both. And then your H&R flours, H&R flours will never be bromated. They'll only be bleached. Some will be bleached, some will be unbleached. But as I said, all of them are declared very well. When you're looking at competitive flour bags, a lot of times the clues are in the name. So if you're looking at the left-hand side, the Labrada bag, in the blue circle, you'll see high gluten flour. So that's telling you right off that you're going to be using or looking at a high protein flour. You won't be looking at a patent flour or a pastry flour or cake flour to match that product. You know it's going to be a high protein product. You'll have to look at the ingredient deck to see what treatments are on there, but right off the bat, that's your first clue, high gluten flour. Now, if you look at the bag to the right, the Rocky Rococo bag, it's a pizza flour, and that's declared. It's also declared bleach and enriched. We don't see bromate on there, but I would double check underneath. You really can't see the ingredient deck, but underneath it, the ingredient deck would tell you if it did have bromate. And there's another really good clue there under the Rocky Rococo label. It says pan style pizza. And if you remember when we talked about pan style pizza, that was a patent flour. So that's going to give you another clue there. Competitive flour bags, pack size, big clue as far as European flours. Remember, we talked about European flours are packed in 25-pound kilos, which is 55 pounds. Now, most European flours are going to come in at the 12% protein range. If not, they're going to be declared as a high protein or a higher protein flour. So if you're going against that 000 flour, you wanted to use the Di Primordine Farina for the reason we discussed earlier. It's the exact weight. So 2 bags of Di Primordine Farina is the exact weight as 1 bag of the Caputo flour. That way the customer does not have to change any of their formulas or change anything as far as handling goes. And that's a big deal with a customer. You'll come across this maybe once, twice a year, but it's always good information to have for a customer. The difference between a nutritional label and a spec sheet as regarding protein is the nutritional label is a serving size. So in this particular case, it's a quarter cup serving size and the protein is 3 grams. Now, when a customer looks at a spec sheet or they're asking you how much protein is in the flour, then the spec sheet might say this one looks like an H&R flour, which would probably be about 10.5, 11% protein. But that's 11% protein of the flour. It's not the nutritional labeling. The nutritional labeling is 3 grams. The actual strength of the flour is 10.5 to 11 on a H&R flour. And as we talked about, you get into the patent flours, 12%, and a little when you get into the high proteins, 13 to 14%. If you're not sure, always check the ingredient deck. The ingredient deck will tell you exactly what's in the bag. If it's in the bag, it has to be declared on the ingredient deck. I wanted to show you an ingredient deck with enzyme. As you look down the ingredients, you see this product is bleached, bromated, and it has enzymes. If you come across enzymes like the previous slide showed, call your FSI counterpart who could help you out. From the previous lessons, there's clues on every bag, and these particular ones I just wanted to show you quickly. You have pastry flour, right away it's declaring it's a pastry flour. You know it's for pie crust, cookies from in a winter wheat. The middle bag, the Anna Capri bag, is showing you it's a high gluten flour. So high gluten, high protein, you're going to be thinking all trumps, balancer, something to that extent, remarkable. What you would have to look for here is the treatment. The treatment would be, it says contains wheat, but there would have to be an ingredient deck you'd have to look at to see what treatments were associated with that flour. And the Caputo, again, I was just pointing, you could barely see it. That's like an eye chart there, but I'm pointing to the net weight. That arrow is pointing to the net weight. And that's something you always want to look at, especially with European flours. Talk about pricing a little bit. Flour Facts, it's a weekly publication sent out by General Mills and very easy to get on that distribution list. If you use that, carry it with you, you'll be able to have some confidence talking about pricing and become sort of a bakery consultant to the people you're talking to. Because trust me, if you know the bullet points on Flour Facts, most people don't have the time to research where the markets are. So again, you'll become a consultant to those people and take pricing, the discussion of pricing off the table. Now, one thing about pricing, we're never going to be the lowest price. We have flour specs that are rigid. I've talked about them in previous lessons. Our tight specs will create and deliver a consistent quality products. So you never need to apologize for having a superior product. Tight specs will give you a good product and give you a great product and a consistent product. That's very important to people. One thing, if you're selling flour on the East Coast, the flour from the Buffalo mill goes through a long line of pneumatic tubing from where it's milled to where it's bagged. And that dries out the flour. That gives you about an extra pound of, allows the customer to add about an extra pound of water per 50-pound bag. That's roughly a dough ball. Some people add 2 pounds of water, a little more than a dough ball, but getting an extra dough ball per bag, and if they're getting $10 for a pizza and they're getting an extra dough ball, that sort of takes the pricing discussion off the table. Couple things to keep in mind, like our customers, there are some brand loyal customers out there. Sometimes you can't win them all. Sometimes you just say thank you for the opportunity and keep in touch. One thing you will notice as you start implementing some of the things you've learned on these flour detective videos, you'll be going from a detective to a consultant. Your phone will ring because people will see you as the person to go to because you have some knowledge about the different types of flour, some knowledge about the market. And again, people don't have time to read and look at the markets and all the with as busy as they are operating a business. And when you become that consultant, people talk, your phone's going to ring more, and you'll have better and more qualified leads. If you have any questions, feel free to give me an email, shoot me an email, tom.santos@genmills.com. Thanks for your time and look forward to talking to you soon.